Yes. If you guys disagree, come on to the front. Come on.
Hi, Charlie. Thank you so much for coming here. I think it's really good that you come to campuses and talk to people who disagree with you. I also think it's like a testament, like you've like gotten a really big following, and it's a testament to the fact that capitalism works and merit-based societies work, that we can actually grow our influence. And yeah, so I agree with you with a lot of things, but I do disagree with you with like two or three particular points. And I hope to like go touch on all of them. Firstly, it's about morality and the fact that your claim that objective morality exists. I disagree with that. I think morality is relative for everyone or subjective, and it kind of like grows as with the culture and as the culture changes. So yeah, what are your thoughts about that, and how do you justify objective morality?
Do you believe in absolute truth?
What do you mean by absolute truth?
Absolute truth, like that there is truth absolute for all people.
Yes.
You do? Okay, that's objective morality.
That's objective facts. I won't say that's morality.
Okay, so do I have permission to ask you a provocative question?
Sure.
Was-
I know what you're going to ask.
Okay, fine. I mean, was Hitler objectively wrong?
No. So, I do...
What was the Holocaust objectively evil?
I want to like make a distinction between like my personal views that I do feel that it is wrong, but I can't say that it is like objectively wrong because I don't believe that objective morality exists. Like can I ask you like why do you think objective morality exists, and how do you like ground that objective morality in?
Well, first, of course, we believe that the Lord of the heavens and the earth gave us that objective reality through revelation.
Okay.
But secondly, we believe it's written on the heart of every human. You know, in Nuremberg, it's very interesting. When they did the Nuremberg trials, and the Nazis basically said, well, in our country it was right, therefore it's right. Do you know that in Nuremberg they rejected that? They said, no, every human being knows that killing 6 million, babies and kids is wrong. And so do you think there's anything built into us of a moral compass that prevents us from doing evil and we have to try to stifle it?
I think there are moral intuitions that everyone has, but again, like those moral intuitions can differ from person to person, right? Like I might say that, like I don't know, like doing something is wrong, but like someone else might say, oh, it's fine in this situation. So like, how do you distinguish? Like, so it's obviously subjective, right? Like everyone might have their own opinions on what is right and what is wrong. So how do you how do you make a framework that says that, like, these are the rules of what is right and what is wrong, and like how do you ground
The more important question is, do you believe in God? Which I guess you do not.
I'm agnostic. Like,
Yeah, okay, so that's where, okay, so if you don't believe in, this actually, what's your name? Sorry.
Abhinav.
Yeah, well, you're making a great argument. And your argument is totally correct, which is that if you don't believe in God, then you cannot say that the Holocaust was wrong. In order to believe that, in order to believe something is objectively wrong, you must believe in God. Because if you believe in God, then you believe that there's a transcendent moral order that is over all of us. And you're proving that point, and it's not even a criticism. You are being consistent.
Okay.
And to your point, which is that, so we believe that there is a God that has rules for life. We believe that was given to Moses primarily at Mount Sinai. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery. And that every society and every culture lives under that natural law. And so, but it's very interesting that if we get away from the idea of a belief in God and the transcendent, you can see how dangerous that is for society, right?
I wouldn't say it's dangerous because it really depends on what the morals the society adopts and like what their constitution is, what their values are. I don't know why that needs to be grounded in religion.
Well, so let me ask, okay, so would you say that murder is bad? Yes?
I would say that.
By
yeah.
what standard do you measure bad?
I would say that like it's based on my environment, how I was raised, like what my cultural beliefs are, like how everyone else like's morality has influenced my morality. So it's like I believe that it's like, for example, like I think you brought this up in some other debate that like some tribes might like are okay with child sacrifice or cannibalism or things like that, right? So for them that is okay. For me, it's not, right? It really depends on what society we grow up in, I think.
Yeah. So child
I'm just trying to understand how do I
Let's
ground
pay attention up here,
objective?
guys. Thanks.
How do we ground what is objective? And also you brought up a point that like if you do believe in God, then we do have objective morality, right? And you obviously believe in Christianity. But my point is like if, for example, a different religion has different morals, how do you determine which one is objective? Because both will think that it's objective, right? So how do you make that determination?
It's a great question. Well, first you have to look at, sorry, there's just a side show going on here. You have to look at the proof and the fruit of which that moral system has delivered.
Okay.
And so, are you from India? I don't mean
Yeah,
to, okay.
I'm from Delhi.
Do you, and can I ask you a provocative question? I don't mean to offend you by any way, but
Sure.
do you think that the moral system of India or the moral system of America, which is better?
What do you mean by moral system? Like, can
Caste
you give
system.
me some? Yeah, I disagree with the caste system.
Got it. So you disagree with it, but is there something objectively evil and wrong with saying that 200 million people are permanently in poverty?
Again, I want to ask you, like, how do we ground objectivity? Like, what, like, for example, like for scientific theories, like we can like conduct experiments and say, okay, it's objectively true. But like for morality, like it depends person to, like, for example, people living in India at that time, for them it might have been okay, right? So like, how do we ground the objectivity? Like
You have to believe in God. You have to believe in a power, more specifically, a monotheistic one.
Okay, why is that?
Well, because if you have many gods, polytheism, you have many moralities. And if one God, one morality. So that's why ethical monotheism founded America. And so, of course, it's a faith claim in some ways, but we can use science also to get us pretty close to believing in God, from space, time, and matter, from the teleological argument for God, for how all the fine-tuning of our universe exists. But then in order, once you believe in a God, then you can then say there's an objective morality. If you don't believe in God, your position is correct. It's
But,
all just context.
I do disagree with one thing that like because there are multiple religions, right? Multiple monotheistic religions. So how do you determine which monotheistic religion is true?
So, well, why is mine true? Because because the resurrection is the most documented, followed, and proven fact of history. Of all the different things, is that the resurrection of Jesus Christ is by far the most compelling event in human history besides the creation of the world. Is that we know Jesus existed, we know that he was killed, we have extra biblical sources that prove it, from Josephus, from the Talmud, to the historians of the day, and there are so many facts surrounding the resurrection that cannot be explained other than that Jesus actually rose from the dead. From why use female witnesses, we know that he was in the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea, we know that the tomb was empty. Where did Jesus' body go? For example, if you wanted to disprove Christianity, why didn't they just march through the streets with Jesus' corpse and say, nope, actually he is not risen from the dead, here he is right now. From all these different elements, we stake all of our chips as Christians into the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Amongst many other things, that the Bible is materially true every time that we do an archaeological discovery in the Middle East. The more that we discover, the more that we search in the Middle East, the more we find out that the Bible is true.
Okay, so your belief is basically based on the truth value of Christianity, basically, right? And like the fact that like you believe that your religion is true, and therefore that's where you derive your morality from, right?
Partially, yes,
Okay.
but even before that, you don't have to believe in the resurrection to believe in God.
Okay.
You can believe in God and not believe in the resurrection.
So
but
if
you
I-
asked me why I believe in Christianity.
So, for example, there are a lot of arguments, for example, the cosmological argument or teleological argument that you mentioned, which do not really do not refer to like a particular God, right? It just refers to God in general.
Correct.
So
And-
how do you derive morality from just the existence of God without associating it with a particular religion?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So you can use reason that if there is a God, then God would want us to live a certain way. And which way is best, which way is most efficacious. This is not my argument for it, but this would be a more deistic morality
Okay.
that some of the founding fathers had, that if there is a God, well, then he probably wouldn't want us to screw up this place too much. He wouldn't want us to hurt each other, right? You can use your reason to get to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's not a perfect fit. The Christian answer is a far better one, right? And a lot of what we consider to be correct moral thinking is rooted from a belief in objective morality.
That's fine, but like then you would have to contend with things like the problem of evil, right? Because that would be like a problem, right? Because like, for example, the Christian theistic like the God is like all good, right? But
Yes, but sorry to interrupt, but atheists have a problem of evil too.
uh-huh.
Do you know what the problem of evil
What
is
is
for the
that?
atheists? They can't tell us what evil is.
That is
Right?
true. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
So we have a problem of evil, which is to explain evil. We struggle with that. Atheists have a problem with evil, which is they can't tell us what is evil or good.
But that's because they don't believe in objective.
Exactly.
motives, right?
So, but that's a bigger problem. So they can't even use the problem of evil against us because by what definition do they consider something evil? They can use a problem of suffering
Yeah.
because suffering is objectively measured, right? Pain or struggle. So yeah, I mean, look, the problem of evil. I don't have a great answer. I'm not going to give an answer that no one's ever given. Evil, actually, you could argue, is an absence of a good thing. Evil itself does not necessarily exist. It's just the absence of good, the same way that dark is the absence of life. But look, we as Christians, we have a couple things that are very hard to answer, right? Problem of evil and like why kids die. I mean, amongst many other things, right? Atheists have to explain everything else. They have to explain why we're here, how the earth was created, love, mercy, justice, forgiveness, everlasting life. And so we do have an answer in the Christian faith that God uses all things for good for those who loves him. God works in mysterious ways is the old thing that we say. But also we also believe in original sin. But all of that actually appeals that there is a transcendent good.
Uh-huh.
Evil itself does not disprove God. It might question what you think of God and the nature of God, but itself does not necessarily disprove it.
Okay, thank you. I did have like one more point.
Yeah, and then we'll get to the next question. Very good, though. Yeah.
Very quickly, like you mentioned that like the previous person also talked about. You believe that like university is a scam, right? I just wanted to like ask you specifically, like what aspects do you think are a scam? Like, do you think all majors are a scam, all universities are a scam?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
but I mean, half the kids in this audience, if they get a job, they'll end up getting a job that does not require a college degree. So and I mean, you think about that. I mean, by the way, the national graduation rate's only 59%. 41% of people that enter college do not graduate. So
I do agree with you that the tuition part of it can like nowadays, like on the internet you can find almost any information.
Yep.
I do believe that like the utility of universities is the networking that you can do with peers as well as like industry professionals, and also the resources that universities provide, especially for the STEM subjects. And I wanted to ask you, like, since you
really quick, yep.
yeah, last question.
Last question.
I wanted to ask you, like, since you did not like go to university and like you built this entire big organization yourself, how did you tackle those networking challenges, and like how did you like step by step build up to this?
Phenomenal question. You find somebody you want to go meet, and you go find them. You don't need to go to college to meet important people. You literally can be like, okay, what do I want to do? Who's the best person in my local area? Find out what charities are involved. Call their office. Show up at their office. You'd be amazed at how many people are willing to work with you and meet you, but you don't need to necessarily go to college to be able to do that networking opportunity. Thank you so much. Very good. Do you want a hat? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Excellent questions. Very thoughtful, my friend. Thank you. That's how it should be. Give it up for him. That was really good, everybody.